Alright, so thank you all for coming to the first NMD United Google Hangout. I'm Alex. We also have Emily and TK in our chat tonight. We are some of the core members of NMD United. Are we losing people?
Okay. I think we lost Margaret, but she's going to come back.
Okay. Tonight the topic of discussion is building a house, which is something that I've been working on for over a year now. By no means am I an expert, but I thought I would just kind of share my experiences briefly and then take questions, hopefully facilitate some discussion. So I live in St. Augustine, Florida, and I bought property about 2 years ago, 2.5 years now, and I spent well over a year designing my home. So to me, I chose to build a custom home so that I could build it completely accessible and just designed to suit my needs. I spent probably almost a year designing it and really just... Hi!
Did it work? Hi!
We hear you.
Okay.
So, I spent about a year designing my home and doing research, and I really took into consideration my daily needs. So I thought about things like how I get lifted out of bed and where I go, from bed to the bathroom. I thought about things like the bathroom routine, what order I go from. I lay on the counter to dress and undress. So I thought about, the best way to move from the counter to the toilet, to the shower, and back again. Those were the things that I really focused on and spent a lot of time moving around till I figured out what will hopefully be the best fit for my needs. I really didn't do a lot of typically accessible things. Most of what I've utilized is just technology. So I've done a security system that will be controlled from my iPhone and any other OS device that I might get in the future. I can do the thermostat, the garage door openers. I'll have the ability to control lights. I'm going to add on a door opener for the front door. I think what else I've done. I designed the whole house with a real open floor plan. There's only one hallway, and that's very short. And it's wide enough that I can turn around. Spin around in my wheelchair. I think that's really it as far as accessibility goes. I just spent a lot of time thinking about what my needs are. I did do open counters so that I can, excuse me, so that I can pull up in my wheelchair. Excuse me. So, what question can I start answering?
Did you go with wide doors?
I did.
To get in and out of the bathroom?
I did. Every door is 36 inches.
I just had a question more about when you hire a builder or whatever, when you go through that whole process, were they open about you changing like you said you did it custom, how does that work? Because I know that when you buy property that there's often you'll go into a housing development
Right.
that have standards that they require. Did they have any interior requirements, or was it totally up to you how you design the interior?
It was up to me. I picked a development that didn't have a set developer. There are guidelines for the homeowners association, but all those guidelines are more about, property, lawn maintenance, those type of things. As far as inside, that was all up to me. And when selecting a builder, I found one that knew that I had very specific needs, and I had already designed the home, and I knew that he was there to work with me. He wasn't interjecting when I didn't ask him to.
Did you use any kind of particular software for designing the house?
I didn't. I'm a graphic designer, so I ended up using Adobe Illustrator. Just obviously not drafting software, but that's what I know and am familiar with. So that's what I used. And then I did hire a draftsman to draw up the blueprints from my plans.
I had a question about how did you get your security system, or not security, but your automation system?
Mm-hmm.
Is it an X10 based system, or what is it based on? What type of, because I know I've been looking at it, and they're all X10, and
That is a great question. I'm going to have to get the link, and I'll make up a list of links and post them later. I believe the one that I chose is X10, but I'm not positive. So
Yeah.
I also have X10.
You do?
Yeah.
Black controllers.
That's the one that I was, that research suggested to use, but
It's very popular.
it's still,
Yeah.
I don't like the limitations that you have to, that you have on it.
Well, I found someone that's actually a family friend. He owns a security system. I got his advice, and I ended up going with the system that he recommended. It's very expandable, so that's what I was looking for. My budget doesn't allow me to do everything I want right up front, but I wanted a system that I could expand and add on to as money allows.
Who are you living with?
I'm looking for roommates. It's a 4-bedroom. One of the bedrooms is my office. So I'll have a bedroom, an office, and then 2 more bedrooms. I'm currently searching for roommates. We'll see how that goes.
Have you lived with roommates before?
In college, I did.
Yeah. I know. I'm renting my room on Airbnb.com. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I used it once.
It's a cool website. You
Yeah.
can rent your room out like a hotel room.
Yeah.
But I've heard recently that they're going to be. There's been a lot of I guess like for instance in New York City, there's been a lot of court battling type things going on that's trying to prevent Airbnb from becoming, from continuing basically because hotels are frustrated.
And it doesn't jive with the hotel laws. But
Yeah.
People are changing.
I think it's awesome. I think it's so great. How many here, just out of curiosity, how many here own their own apartment or house or that are basically in the
Their own dwelling.
Own it or rent it alone or what?
Yeah, just wondering. I guess we're curious about what everybody's living situation is at the moment.
Well, I rent a 2-bedroom apartment in Berkeley, and I used to have a roommate, and thank God no more. I wanted the extra space, and convinced them that it was a reasonable accommodation to have a 2-bedroom below market rate apartment for a single person, because I have multiple wheelchairs and equipment.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I have my own apartment, and it's a 2-bedroom apartment. And I just rent out the other room to either a roommate or on Airbnb.
Very good.
How much do you rent it out for a night, out of curiosity?
$60 a night or $9.80 a month.
Where do you live?
Los Angeles, like Culver City.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool because I'm right near everything. So it's kind of
Awesome.
cool and terrible for like international travelers.
Awesome. How about you, Kevin? You said you recently bought a house?
I just moved to Chicago about 2 months ago, and I bought a condominium off of Michigan Avenue on like Lake Shore area. So, like you were saying, Alex, I also was able to design it from scratch really because at the time that I found it, they were building them. So it worked out well. I was just able to kind of work with the architect to get the floor plan to my needs. I've never actually heard of X10, is that what you said?
Yeah.
But I use something, I'll write it up here, I use something called Insteon by
that's the other big one.
And I have that installed for me for, it mutes me because I was typing.
Oh. Yeah, mine doesn't.
The X10 is just it's that I did a whole bunch of research, and so it's just the name of the technology that I was looking at, and that was like 2 years ago. So I probably am way out of the time.
Yeah, I don't know if this one's better or not. I think it's different. And
what capabilities do you have with it?
Well, for me, since I live like up high, I live on the 41st floor. It's like a lot of sun, so
what floor?
I got the 41st.
Wow.
It's interesting.
That's cool.
We don't have that here.
We have bad weather, so it's just really off for this. But anyway, I have like my blinds are through my iPhone, and then I have like I think I have 15 light switches that are all through my iPhone.
Awesome.
And then my thermostat is also through my iPhone. So
awesome.
What do you use to control the blinds?
My iPhone.
No, I mean like what kind of a motor, or like what kind of motor opens and closes?
Oh, it's a company called Motion, and basically it's just like something that plugs into my router, and then it works through that. I guess if I could add a tip, something that I think is really important for all of us, especially since we seem to rely a lot on technology, is like to definitely make sure that you have at least like one of your computers or something hardwired into the modem or the router. I found that like there's a huge increase in reliability for me if I keep at least like something hard lined in the event that like the signal is low.
Right.
So that way I can like always power, because obviously, and like I think you said too, Alex, my front door to my apartment is an automatic door, so obviously if I don't have Wi-Fi, I can't get inside. So it's kind of important.
Definitely.
How many elevators do you have up to your apartment? How many elevators? Yeah. I mean, to my floor, there's like, I think, four or five. It's kind of like at the first floor, you pick a bank of elevators. So since I'm up so high, my elevator only goes from 1 to 40, like automatically. It doesn't stop in between. Okay. So if there's a fire, I'm pretty much dead. But it's good burning.
Yeah, but if we're on the 3rd floor or the 40th floor, we're
pretty much the same.
Obviously, I told them, save me. But by that point, I might just say open the window a little bit further.
Well, it's interesting because there's so many people that fear burning like that have what like I've heard this excuse from so many people about not wanting to leave their parents or not wanting to live independently because they're afraid that if their house sets on fire, they're going to burn. And I'm like, if it was between the small chance of me burning or like being independent for my life, I would obviously burn.
Yeah.
Well, in Berkeley, it's hard to find. You can't find ground level apartments. It's really hard to do, really hard. And so you have to use an elevator.
I wouldn't want to live on the first floor.
Luckily, the place I found had one elevator in my building, but then we're attached to another building that I can use that elevator. But then I have to go through doors that don't have freaking door openers and stuff. But technically, there's like 2 other elevators I can use.
Right.
So to make myself safe, not that I really worry, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for that story. I want the story of the cripple that burned. I really find me the story. I want to know because it's like
no. The elevators work. They still work.
Oh, yeah. In case of
I
fire,
just asked
use
about the elevator
stairs.
because I just asked about the elevator because, like, where I used to live, we only had one elevator. It's an old building, and like a couple times they did renovations, and I was stuck in my apartment for like 3 weeks. It was just,
No way.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, where I moved, it's brand new, so there are a lot of renovations going on, but I mean, I just had a conversation with them saying that, I need to get out, and then I said, by the way, I'm a lawyer.
By the way, don't mess with me.
I use that a lot.
Yeah. Every time.
What do you do when the power goes out? Because, it's really hard for me to find a place in LA with no elevators.
I don't have that frequently, honestly, though.
Well, I'm on my own, and so if I had to rely on an elevator, there's no one to like help me down the stairs or anything, and my chair is pretty heavy.
Yeah, I've done it for 9 years and not died yet, so we'll see. Maybe I will die. Maybe I'll burn.
I hope not.
I guess I have my own house. I moved. It was built in the 1980s, and I bought it in 2005. It's 3 bedrooms, and it's in Austin, kind of on the outskirts of the city. It's still in city limits, but it's kind of on the outskirts. It's obviously a 1-story house, and the city gave me some funding to do some renovations. They put in a roll-in shower for me and some ramps, so I could get into I go in through the garage. I don't go in through the front door. And we're going to have a ramp out in the back, and a ramp on my deck that the city paid for. It was like $5,000, and the shower that they did, they did a horrible job on the shower. It was really, 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 really shoddy. So I had to get it redone because my bathroom basically turned into like mold land. So because it was like it wasn't sealed properly, so I had to go in and have it gutted a couple of years ago and like redone. I have absolutely no technology running my house. I use a Sharpie marker with a wire hanger attached to it, and it's got like a little loop at the end, and I use that to turn my lights on and off. I have like the most fancy piece of technology that I have in my house right now is a remote control for my ceiling fan, which is that's what I was like, whoa, it was like crazy. And I have a Craftmatic adjustable bed, and I have some ropes on my doors so I can pull them open and closed. But like I have like zero any of this. Like I don't even know where I begin. Yeah.
Emily,
I have the same reacher. Margaret, here's what I use my ceiling fan.
Right on.
I love it.
Emily, I'm glad that you mentioned some of those things. Oh yeah, that reminded me.
I've never seen that one. I wish. Can you hold it up again, Margaret, and talk so it's bigger? All right.
Okay, so it's just one of the regular dressing sticks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so this one is a shorter one. This is the one I like the most because it's shorter and lighter and smaller. But I break them constantly. But they're about $6, so I don't really care. I throw them away. I go through one probably. I have like 5 or 6 of them, and I go through them like I have to replace them about every 2 months, 3 months, and I don't really care.
You have a rubber band on the end of yours, or what is that rubber band?
Yeah, that's my hair tie. So I have a hair tie on there, so that way I can loop it around like my short on my chair. You can't see. And if I drop it, I'm not gonna drop it the stuff, you know.
I'm gonna show you hold on one second. I'm gonna do it in my thing.
While Emily's doing that, I thought of a few other things that I did at my house, just in Emily's conversation. So one thing is ramps. I made sure that when we poured the foundation, we poured it completely level, so there are no thresholds at the front door, the back door, or the garage door. They're all 0 threshold. So I didn't have to worry about ramps. Yes, that was one thing I was...
The best part is you would think that would be normal.
You would. It's a 1-story house. There are no need for stairs. But all they had...
You hadn't been on them.
Right. So all they had to do was slope the entryway. I think it's 12 feet for every inch. Or I said that wrong. An inch for every 12, yeah. So you never noticed it. The garage is sloped that way, and the front porch and back porch. And then the shower, I did it lengthwise and did the whole side of it open. So it's, it was like a stall, but the side of it is open. So there's no worrying about, squeezing in with me and an assistant. It's open on that side.
They need to make sure to put a depression in the slab if it's a roll-in shower.
Right? They did?
We had that problem with my parents.
We did. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's dropped down.
Easily overlooked.
There's a shower.
Yeah, well, when my parents did it when they were remodeled first time, that's what happened. It was gross. It was horrible.
You go once and you say, no, it's totally messed up. They learn your lesson.
Yeah.
Alex, what did you do for floors?
That's another one. I did a vinyl. It's vinyl planks, and it looks like hardwood. It's shaped like planks of hardwood, but it's very resilient. It's very resilient. So
probably like an Armstrong or a Pergo.
Like a laminate type almost, or vinyl?
Yeah. Well, it's like a laminate, but it's vinyl.
But the look is like more like a laminate wood style than just like a vinyl style. Okay.
It's made by Shaw, and they're installing it in a lot of apartments now, which is obviously for resiliency. When they install flooring in apartments, they don't want to replace it. So
I went with
my apartment has disgusting carpet, and it's all my fault. I was the first person to live in the apartment. I've been for 7 years, so.
I have that.
That's right. I also have the floor because in my apartment, the building, every apartment until about 5 years ago was mandatorily carpeted. And when I first moved here, I was like, oh God, I hate the carpet. But then I discovered that I really like how it keeps the noise down and cuts down on the echoes. So it makes my voice recognition software work better. And now I need to change the carpet because it's getting kind of beat up. But after, I think, 12 years of living here, it still looks okay. So I like the carpet. I didn't think I would, but it's worked out really good.
You're going to have to move all your furniture out to replace the carpet, right?
Yeah, but you do that once every 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's right, What I do is, before I come to my apartment, I roll up and down the hallway a couple times just to get, snow and dirt off. But it's right,
I've always avoided carpet for allergy reasons. It holds so much dust and dirt and mold and mildew. My allergies are so bad. That's why I avoid it.
I want a topic in the future someday on how you guys get around in the snow. I grew up in Colorado and I didn't use a wheelchair, but I don't think I can go back. I'm in Texas.
I hated it when I was in DC, and that was no snow.
I've never seen snow.
Nothing compared to what most people have.
I grew up in upstate New York many times.
I'm sorry, what?
And Prince, have you seen my chair? The X5, it has the 18.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that's true. Yeah, that thing will go around the world.
You're an
Yeah.
exception.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
What I did last time it snowed here, I put zip ties through the wheels, and they added a little bit of extra traction. Kind of like snow chains.
I found with the snow and with most conditions, as long as I didn't try to be too careful and didn't start thinking about it much and didn't panic, I was fine. But as soon as I started trying to be careful, then I'd get freaking stuck.
Right.
And it'd be a disaster. But that's
when I moved here from New York, and I went to school in the snow belt, and I left because of the snow. I just couldn't take it anymore. And just because I was constantly cold, like I have no idea why TK and I have no idea, Kevin, how you guys tolerate it without losing your minds. Like I just can't even imagine.
I couldn't do it.
Well, the main reason I tolerate it is that we have great personal care service here in New York. So this is a segue back into the technology thing. I don't use that much technology because I have round the clock PAs, and so I kind of really need to have my PAs all the time anyway. So if they just help me get from the front door of my building into my van if I'm going out in the winter, and the whole club anyway. So it's not that bad. If you have help, if you don't have help, then I could see how it could be a lot more of a area.
And if you live in a place that you can use a car and drive places.
Yeah.
So if it snowed here in Berkeley, that sucked because you can't drive places in Berkeley. So you'd be if it was snowing, you'd be walking for 20 minutes on campus no matter what. So I don't know.
My last apartment had iced all the way to my car, and they wouldn't clean it off. It snowed and iced, and they didn't want the liability of cleaning it off. So my probably 70-year-old neighbors came down and did it for me.
Wow.
I didn't ask them to do it. I felt so bad, but that was the only way I could get to work.
There are still good people out there.
Yes. Sure.
Gotta love liability.
Well, they were if they do it and they don't do it well enough and somebody hurts themselves, then they're liable. If they don't do it, I guess it's probably easier for them to just say, well, we didn't touch it. It was their fault. But that raises a question getting into a house. You have to make sure the house we're in now is really, really steep driveways. So if it iced, there's no way I could get into the house. So I don't know did you do anything, Alex? Where are you? You're in California?
No, I'm in Florida. Ice is
Florida.
not a
So you don't
problem.
have to worry about that.
Not a problem. But I did do a garage big enough that I could pull my van in and open up my ramp and unload my garage. Because we get rain almost every day. So I'm always getting wet. So that's very exciting to be able to have a garage, be able to load and unload and stay dry and not overheat. In the summers, it's 100 degrees out. Just getting in the car, you start sweating. So being able
I know. Today, I just got home. That's why I was late to this. Because I just got back. I was able to go to the grocery store today, and I didn't end up having, because the grocery store had a underground parking garage. I didn't actually have to go outside. It was so freaking awesome.
nice.
Yes!
Nice.
Hey, Alex, did you modify your kitchen at all? I mean, did you do anything in your kitchen that was different?
The only thing I really did in the kitchen was I did a huge island, and I made the granite hang over enough that I can pull up on the bar side and sit comfortably at the bar. It's one level, so it's all standard counter height. I have a seat elevator, so I didn't worry about lowering it to an extreme low. It's all just standard, I believe 36-inch height. It's very open. There's the big island and then one wall of counter with all the appliances, so I can get around completely. There's really.
Did you leave open like under the sink?
I
Because
didn't.
like
This was
my apartment, that's what they did. It's officially accessible, and they didn't put in a. Everyone else got a garbage disposal, and it sucked. Because they didn't put one in, so they had the need clearance, and so I didn't get a garbage disposal. And
my reason, 3 years, I don't have the upper body strength to do dishes, so as far as using the kitchen sink, I'm not really using it. So I did the one sink in my master bath with knee clearance. Yeah. The one in the kitchen, I left the cabinet. I figure I need the cabinet more than I need the knee clearance. So
that's what I would have done too, but I just thought I'd ask you.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up as far as flooring goes, I couldn't afford a lot of like options. I hated the carpet. I had a Berber carpet that was kind of like a little bit more rugged, but I just hated it. So I got a hold of a commercial flooring company. They usually go to like apartment complexes and do flooring. They were willing to come out to my house and do a private residence, which was really nice, and they gave me a bulk discount on the flooring. I got a vinyl sheet. It's like a very thin sheet of just plastic, but it has a print on it that looks like wood.
Yeah.
It's for my entire house, which is like 1,200 square feet. I got it done for installation and materials. It cost me, I think, $1,100 for the whole house. And they came in, they moved out all my furniture, they laid the plastic sheet on the concrete and glued it down, and then they brought all my furniture in, and it took one day. It was like I went out for the day and came home, and it was my whole house was floored.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. And it's been really great for me because it's dark. The wood, the foot or whatever, the fake looking wood. It's like my chair. My chair beats up everything, and so it's tolerated everything. It's tolerated water and mopping and whatever I want to do with it. And it was so cheap that it's easy to replace. It came with like a 10-year warranty. And so if I ever had any kind of problems, they just come in and just slap down like a new piece. But I just think it's really awesome, and I'm sure it's a lot more expensive now because I can't imagine it not being more popular. But anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Awesome.
Right. I think along those lines, I used to design stores for Zales, and we use carpet tiles, and they're real thick. And so if you spilled something, it'd be easy to replace, and they're thick enough that I have a chair with 6 wheels. And it tends to, on the plush carpet, it tends to kind of snowplow it when you turn and it touches it. Those carpet tiles are a lot more rugged. If you like carpet. The only thing I don't like about the hard surfaces is it's so loud.
Yeah.
Cold on your feet and...
Not my feet.
No.
I mean, is there anything for the door locks? Like, I know there's these like fancy door locks that like you can like give your friends and caregivers a code.
That's all integrated with my security system. So part of my security system.
But there are also other ways you can do cheaply if you can't actually like have a whole system. Because like if you live in like an apartment, there are ways to do it.
I've seen a few actually.
Actually, I have a.
Call it too. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I went to Home Depot and I bought this thing. It's like a box, and it goes over your. It's a deadbolt, but there's a code that you punch in, and you change the code whenever. And so I just give that to my attendants and my roommates, and so they just punch in the code and it opens and closes it, and it's a lot easier for me too. Like I can unlock it with the push of a button, and it was something you could just buy at Home Depot for like $70 and install it yourself.
Yeah, or electronic deadbolts with remote controls.
Right.
Electronic deadbolt, $100, $200 at most if you were to get a really nice one. So yeah.
Yeah, I should get one of those.
But I mean, the problem is that you got to get someone to install it.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't have any lackeys that are capable of that.
But you can usually find a handyman that you can pay cash for, an hour of his time. No
A lot of
biggie.
stuff will do it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but for something that's $50 or $100,
Yeah.
you really want to pay someone for that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be worth it.
I know. That's just my excuse for not dealing with it.
What do you do? Do you give your attendants copies of your key, or like how do you sleep alone, or what do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I don't give all my attendants get copies of the keys, generally, and if they don't have a copy, they're freaking morons. And no, everyone normally has copies of the keys. I did buy a door opener, but because I didn't go through Open Sesame, I just went I did it when I was 20. I didn't know what I was doing. It was just a crap thing. It didn't end up ever working, and so I ended up getting rid of it. So for a time, it basically opened the door, but it didn't actually open the door. It only unlocked it, and it didn't really lock it. It wasn't really helpful. So I broke it. But yeah, no, I just give everyone that, and then to get into the building, they all also have to use a call box. I don't give any of them the little swabby thing, except for one or two of them. But yeah.
What if you fire somebody?
What if you fire someone?
If you fire someone, yeah. They may have.
I don't work out. I've gotten all my keys back. I've never not gotten a key back. And
Well,
I don't have anything that anyone's really gonna want. Honestly.
I know, but
all my prized possessions. Who's gonna want my prized possession, my $50,000 wheelchair? Really? No. No one's gonna want that. So. Yeah.
Well, one time I fired somebody, and then I asked the building to change the lock on my building, on my apartment, but that's only one time in, maybe 15 years.
Alright, guys. Do we have any more questions about housing specifically?
Did you use any outside funding sources? Did the city do anything, or?
I didn't. I looked. I couldn't find any. The one thing I found is a tax exemption for disabled people. So once it's done and I get my CO, I'll be able to qualify for a property tax exemption.
Do you have to be on Social Security for that property tax exemption?
No, there's an income limit. But
there's an income limit, okay.
It's something like $36,000 maybe. It's reasonable.
Okay. So yeah, they have that here, but I wouldn't have qualified. I've always made pretty much over that. And it was always phrased as you had to have a permanent disability in the sense that you wouldn't be able to work ever, kind of thing.
Oh, you gotta love them.
There are always ways around it.
Did I tell you, I have this master plan for my student loans where I'm going to declare myself permanently disabled at 65.
Yeah, totally. No, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah, and stay in student deferment until then. So,
yeah.
Horrible.
Dude, no, come on. You're way more legit than anyone else that does stuff like that. Screw them.
Alright, guys. Well, I'm going
Margaret says how it is.
What?
Margaret says what's on her mind.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If we
I was wondering before you go if anybody, for your shower, if what you do, I know that you said it's open, but since I just moved, I've been wanting to get a rainwater head for a really long time, and I finally got one. And it's just really great because, first of all, it covers your whole body at once, and then my caregiver's hands are free to wash me, and it's just easier than having to juggle the handheld thing. So I was just wondering, Alex, especially since you're the one with the house, what you were using?
Great question. I actually went ahead and did both. I did a handheld and mounted shower head.
That's
And
good.
they're both adjustable. They have 4 or 5 different settings on them.
You have a hand wand?
Your attendants wear like a poncho or something? Like,
I know people that, that's what a lot of people I know do.
The thing is that I made the shower in my place, it's so big that, like, they can kind of be right there and not, like, I mean, they wear, like, a tank top and shorts, but it's not like a pool. But I found that the secret was, like, having a drain in the shower and a drain in the bathroom, because, like, that's obviously, I think everyone has that issue where it's just, like, a lot of water.
I did my drain towards the back of the shower, and it slopes down, so hopefully most of the water will make it to the drain. We'll see.
Oh, so do you not live in it now, or are you?
It's not done yet.
Oh, cool.
Not quite.
Do you have a closing date yet?
What?
Do you have a closing date yet?
Well, it's already closed. I mean, I already.
It's an opening date.
Do you have a move-in date?
A move-in date, June. 5 months ago. It's gone over. It should be done soon. Hopefully within the month.
By the way, Alex forgot to tell people, everybody that's been on the call gets a free weekend at her house.
Yeah.
It's accessible at least, right?
Hey, that's a good way. We should make a travel club. That's what we'll do. How to travel.
Yeah, it's really, I would love that.
Accessible housing and transportation.
Yeah.
I would totally switch out with any of you guys. If any of you guys want to come to Austin and one of the next places, I would be happy to go pretty much anywhere you guys live. Like, I mean, I would love to get to Berkeley again. I've been there once. It was beautiful. And
yeah.
I've never been.
Really? You've only been once?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've only been to California a couple times. I mean, I grew up in upstate New York, so I didn't get to travel a whole lot. But I went, when I was 20, to Berkeley, and I just visited there and just saw what it was like. I never, stayed there. I stayed in Marin.
Oh, God, yeah. That's over.
But it was, the problem was it was just so expensive. I couldn't even fathom.
Yeah, you don't want to, yeah, you don't want to know the market rate on my apartment. You really don't.
Yeah, I don't even understand how people survive at all. Like, I can't.
No.
Yeah,
you guys watch Push Girls?
Uh-huh.
I think they're all in California. You see the small houses.
They're down in SoCal, though.
Is it more expensive or cheaper?
It's different. It's a different market.
Are you originally from that area? I'm
from Fresno, which is like the center of the state. Mm-hmm. So I'm not technically NorCal or SoCal. But I've lived in Berkeley since I was 18 when I went away to college. So
how old are you now?
9 years, so 27.
Okay.
So yeah, so I've been here for a while, and I've lived in the same apartment since I was like 21 or something. I don't know, something like that.
And what do you guys all do for a living? I know that Kevin's a lawyer and TK's a lawyer, but whatever. And then Chris, you're an architect, did you say?
I have my architect license, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in transition with work right now. It's a long story, but
for everyone.
The department head that came in and said everybody's doing a terrible job, and it was a mess. So I got out of there.
What about you, Margaret and Andrew?
I'm an engineer. I work at Northrop Grumman.
No.
Andrew, wait, hold on a second. Andrew, was that movie? You were in that movie.
Yeah, Beyond the Chair.
Uh-huh.
I own it. I bought it.
Yeah.
It. Holy shit! It just had me. I
more than any of us have to buy.
Andrew.
Movie? I never heard of it.
Dude, you gotta watch this documentary.
I remember it.
I'll post the link.
Yeah.
Is it for
I mean,
free?
that's awesome. I'm so glad to see you. I didn't even hit me till now. I'm talking to
Yeah, now you know me.
Oh, now he is a celebrity.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just living my life.
No, it's really cool, dude.
We should do a thing on travel too.
Thanks.
These like
Yeah,
the
definitely.
cruises. I don't
I've
have
been
enough
a
time.
lot of places. My parents dragged my ass literally over the hills and through the woods. And I'm not kidding. I mean, literally.
What do you do, Margaret?
In a wheelchair, by the way. But what do? I just graduated UC Berkeley in December, and so I am at the moment fighting DOR, and I just have pets because they suck.
What is
What
that?
is your-
My in-home support services, all my PTA stuff, they suck, and my Medi-Cal and Social Security.
What do you want
And
to
the problem was what happened. I've been dealing with problems because, as you guys said, it's so expensive here. Well, Social Security and Medi-Cal are fixed because my apartment is $1,000 a month, and I don't make and my Social Security is $800 a month. So they threw a hissy fit, and that was a disaster. But whatever.
What do you
That's
major
not
in?
fun. But I'll be working in public policy most likely.
Cool.
I was working at the VA. So.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks for having us, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's fun.